Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the geometry lecture for ESAT M1. Here we will be starting from mensuration. I hope you checked out part 1 where we did basic geometry, Euclidean geometry and bearings. In mensuration, we will be looking into the simple figures that you have learned in middle school: cylinder, cone, sphere, hemisphere, and these two are new, prism and pyramid. Probably some of you have done it, but mostly these are not covered in schools. So for cylinder, the volume is pi r square h, the curved surface area is 2 pi r h. The total surface area would be the curved surface area plus the area of the two circular regions on the top. So that would give you 2 pi r into r plus h. For cone, the volume is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. The curved surface area is pi r l, where l is known as the slant height, which is root over of r square plus h square. The total surface area is the curved surface area plus the area of the circle at the bottom, which is pi r l plus pi r square, taking common pi r into l plus r. For sphere, the curved surface area and total surface area is equal because the entire sphere is curved. That is equal to 4 pi r square, and the volume of the sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. For hemisphere, the total surface area is the curved surface area plus the area of the circular base. Curved surface area is 2 pi r square, so total surface area would be 2 pi r square plus pi r square, which would be 3 pi r square. And the volume is literally half the volume of a sphere, which is 2 by 3 pi r. Now for a prism, the volume is cross section area times height. Okay, because the cross section of a prism could be any shape, and the total surface area is twice into cross section area plus perimeter of cross section times length, because this would give you the side area and this would give you the area of the top two halves. For pyramid, the volume is 1/3 into cross section area into height, so basically 1/3 the volume of a prism, and the surface area is area of base plus half into perimeter of base into slant height. Okay, that is because a pyramid has triangular sides, and the area of base won't be added twice like in prism because the pyramid ends at a pointy end. Now circles. For circles, the area is pi r square, circumference is 2 pi r. Area between two concentric circles or the area of an annulus or a ring is pi capital R square minus pi small r square. Capital R is the outer radius or external radius, and small r is the inner radius. So take pi common and you will have r square minus r square. Arc length is given as r theta, where theta is in radians. If theta is in degrees, you can use theta degree by 360 degree into 2 pi r, basically theta fraction of the circumference. For a sector, the perimeter would be r theta plus 2r, because we learned that a sector is made of two radii and the arc. So add the two radii and the arc. Sector area is theta degree divided by 360 degree into pi r square. We will learn a better formula for sector area when we do sine rule in ESAT M2. Segment area is sector area minus area of triangle formed by the chord. Next part. Although the major portion of trigonometry is in ESAT M2, we just have the introduction to the basic ratios here. So remember the standard values of trigonometric angles. For sine theta, this is 0, half, 1 by root 2, root 3 by 2 and 1. I have not written the angles for which these values are obtained. You all know this: 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. For cosine theta, these are reversed. So sine is red this way, cosine is red that way. For tan, you can just keep dividing and you will get your standard angles. Remember that cosec theta is 1 by sine theta, sec theta is 1 by cos theta, and cot theta is 1 by tan theta. In some questions, you will find that cosec theta is written as CSC theta. That's because every trigonometric ratio has 3 letters while cosec has 5. So to maintain uniformity, sometimes you will find it mentioned as CSC theta. It is the same thing. Remember the complementary angles: sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta, cos 90 minus theta is equal to sine theta, and tan 90 minus theta is equal to cot theta. It works the other way as well. So cos 90 minus theta would be sine theta, sine 90 minus theta would be cos theta, and cot 90 minus theta would be tan theta. These are the Pythagorean identities. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. If you divide both sides of this equation by sin square x, you will end up with 1 plus cot square theta is equal to cosec square theta. If you divide both sides of this equation by cos square x, you will end up with 1 plus tan square theta is equal to sec square theta. We will continue to similarity and stretching. Now the concept of stretching has been discussed already in ratio proportion under scale factors, but we will look into the geometrical aspects of it. Similar figures are identical in shape but can be of different sizes. One is an enlargement of the other or a zoomed out version of the other. You either zoom in or zoom out. If two figures are similar with a length scale factor of k, then their areas have a scale ratio of k square and the volumes have a ratio of k cube. Okay, this will help you solve quite a few MCQ problems faster because you don't need to plug in the individual formulae in order to figure this out. We will look at a few vector calculations. Next, we will study the fundamentals of vectors. So what are vectors? They are quantities that have magnitude and direction. Scalars have only magnitude but no direction. Example, velocity and speed. Velocity could be negative, speed cannot be negative. Same with distance and displacement. The confusion between these two can be hilarious. If you circumnavigate the world, that is, you start at a place and travel around the entire world and come back to that place, your displacement will be 0. But of course, the distance won't be 0. Okay, so do not confuse distance with displacement. If you want to multiply a scalar with a vector, it just multiplies with the various components. So this is the x component, this is the y component. Any scalar getting multiplied to it is multiplied onto the x part as well as to the y part. Alright. Two vectors are parallel if they are scalar multiples of each other. For vector addition and subtraction, add their corresponding x components and y components. Diagrammatically, you can add vectors using the triangle rule. For example, if you start with a vector from point A to point B denoted by AB with a vector sign, this can be found by following a path from A to origin and then O to B. So A to B is the shortcut and you can also write it that way. A to O and O to B. So this would mean AB is equal to AO plus OB. That's it for the theory part. Now we will do two questions. Okay, let us do question 2 first because that is easier and it contains a hint. So the vertices of a triangle are at the points A 2, 5, B 6, 1 and C 10, 5. Now one of my students used the distance formula to figure out the sides of this triangle and they obtained that it was an isosceles triangle. So you could also solve the problems that way. But when I set this problem up, I imagined that you would be using something known as the shoelace formula. So the shoelace formula is used to figure out the area of a triangle using its coordinates. You can denote any one of these as the first point, the second point and the third point, but once you denote them, keep them fixed. So this would be x1, this would be y1, this would be x2, that would be y2, this would be x3, that would be y3. Once you do this, you can use this formula and that would give you the answer. So please figure it out. Someone is a bit tricky because this looks into the concept of phase diagonals and space diagonals. I had described both of those in the first part of this lecture. Please make sure to go through that portion. This problem can also be solved via vectors. I'll not use vectors because dot products and cross products are technically not in the syllabus. You can use general mensuration to solve this question. U is the space diagonal and V is the phase diagonal. So what is a phase diagonal? A phase diagonal of a cube is root 2a and the space diagonal is root 3a. Now what do they want? Basically, if this is a cube, you are drawing a phase diagonal like this and a space diagonal like that. They are asking you for this angle, the angle between the phase diagonal and the space diagonal. This will be a little difficult to visualize because it's 3D. But anyway, this angle is 90, right? So we can just use the old cos theta. Base by hypotenuse. Now base is root 2a and hypotenuse here is the space diagonal which is root 3a. So cos theta will be root 2 by root 3. They want the value of cos theta, right? So if I multiply it by root 3, I'll get root 6 by 3. Option D. That one is correct. Because you won't find root 2 by root 3 anywhere in the options. So yeah, it is option D. I hope you understood these problems. These look very innocent, but these are very nice problems and completely doable in under 90 seconds. If you need help with any ESAT and TMUA chapter, please book a one-to-one class with me using the links in the description. I've already shown you 2 questions from my book. If you want more practice questions like this, please check out the links in the description. With that being said, I'll end this video here. Thank you all for joining and I'll see you in the next video where we discuss statistics. Bye. Take care.